Hi guys, it's Drogo here with another replay review. This time sent in by Trillock1945. We're here on Erlenberg and Trillock's in his Tiger P, which is a tier 7 German heavy tank. And then this tank has recently been buffed in the latest patch and it's made it a lot more competitive. It really did used to be, I would say, possibly one of the worst tier 7 heavy tanks at the lot. It's got a nice 88 gun, not quite got the rate of fire as the Tiger 1, but it's still an effective tank. And now they've buffed the armor a little bit more, you can bounce shots in this tank. So looking at the lineups, we can see that the enemy team is a lot more mobile, and will probably send most of their tanks down to 9-0. Trillock's team is a lot slower. It's got the TDs and it's got more heavy tanks, so we're expecting probably Trillock's team to go to the 1-2, and you know, 10-15 seconds into the game you should always have a look to see how your team is deploying, and we can see we've only got 2 mediums going over towards the 9-0 with a KV1 staying back in base because, well, Russian heavy, so camp base. So we know we're going to lose the 9-0, so we're going to want to push the 1-2 as hard as we can. That way we can win the flank nice and early and get back into a good defensive position for when the inevitable base push comes. So the way you approached here was a little bit on the passive side. I would only normally go that kind of route with a paper TD if I didn't want to get spotted or shot early on. Anything with armor, and certainly as your top tier, you really want to be looking to push the tempo. So I would have pushed up towards the D2 area, E2 area, which would have given you early shots on the Tiger 1. Giving you a good position to push down onto the enemy tanks now, to get into a position where that Cromwell currently is. You, as a top tier heavy, it's your responsibility to push the line, to push the tempo, to tank the damage, and currently you're sitting further back than the 2 tank destroyers that are up here, which is not really how you should be playing a heavy tank. Yeah, basically. So we're missing out on quite a lot of assist damage, we're missing out a lot of actual damage, because while these shots against the 87 are a bit hit and miss at this range, if you was very close to him, they would be going in every time, and the 87 is not particularly a great tank. Let me just pause the game here, and I'll take control of the mouse. On the 87, you've got the cupola, which is a definite hit point, weak spot, but also around this area here, if you was firing a premium, you can go through that without too much problems. Let's go back to Trillock's camera. So there are other options to shoot the 87, but at this range you really need to be hitting weak points, and it's going to be tricky for you to do so. I think he's 375 meters out. That's how far back from the action you actually are at the moment. So we can see the enemy have easily won the 9-0, which is what we was expecting, and now it's time to push the IS-2 back into base. So this flank should have been won. They had, I think, 6 tanks over the side, whereas you had pretty much your entire team over here. So you outnumbered them, you out-armoured them, you out-firepowered them, and yet you just basically let them stop you from doing anything. So I would say it's a lack of aggression here, really, at the start of the game, which has cost you quite a bit of damage and assistance damage. You need to know when to be able to bully And there's a top tier heavy tank against tier 6 mediums and a low health tier 7 heavy. Yeah, that's when you bully. You want to be right at the front, you want to be shoving your gun in their face, and you want to be saying, here, look at me, shoot me. Now, after that Cromwell had just died, there is absolutely no point whatsoever moving forward. The enemy are in your base, the tiger's dead, there's nothing else to shoot. You should be turning around and going back to base, mate. That cost you about 20 seconds. As it's going to turn out, that's not really going to affect the game. But if they've got one more person on cap soon, that 20 seconds could have cost you. Always be aware of the map. So certainly when you're in a heavy tank, because you don't have the speed to be able to move back and forwards as quick as a medium or a light. That shot again, you've got to talk to yourself on priorities. Your priority here is to get back and reset. You shouldn't think, oh well, somebody from my team will reset. You've always got to think, what's my priority? Reset the cap. If I get the reset in, I can get multiple shots off. If they got one more on cap, they probably could have won that because of, again, that little stop and look for a shot that wasn't there. Now, here we need to push to the house of B4. You've spied off the comet, great. You've got the reset, brilliant. Now move. And if you don't move, yeah, that's what's going to happen. You need to know what you got to be afraid of, and at that particular point, what you're afraid of is the artillery. Staying sat still for so long with a lefty, it's going to hit you, and it's going to do 400 points of damage. Okay, so this is fine, but I'm not sure why you've left yourself in the open to be shot by the Strandron. I can't stand these extra zooms. Don't use extra zoom. It limits your situational awareness completely. Right, so that's the end of the game. So we've ended it on, other than the article, but you're not going to get that. We've ended it on 1240 damage, 760 assist with 430 blocks by armor, which is not bad. We're certainly with 4 kills. But this game could have been so much more. You've got to recognise when to be aggressive, and this was a game where you needed to be aggressive. If you'd won that 1-2 line very early, then you could have been into a much better defensive position to lay more shots down onto the enemy as they came across into your base. So there was a lot of damage that could have been got, a lot of assist damage that could have been got, and unfortunately it wasn't. Okay, so I've been Drogo, thank you very much, and I'll catch you on the next one.